Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video about art style because people keep asking me about it on Instagram. First thing I wanted to say is don't go looking for it because you won't find it that way. But hey, I have a formula I wanted to share. The formula is your favorite artist plus your experiences plus your personality will make your art style. So what I'm going to do is break down the formula to explain why this is the conclusion I came to. This is what helped me when I was looking for my style, quote unquote. So the first part of the formula is favorite artists. When I say favorite artists, I'm saying like multiple favorite artists, not just one. When you focus on one artist, then you're just going to like copy everything that the artists do, and it doesn't make your style and it doesn't like make it unique. So I recommend looking for multiple artists and making a list. And as you grow, you're going to change who your favorite artist is, but because of those favorite artists, it will shape who you are. And what to look for when you're looking for your favorite artist is you'll start noticing when you're looking at your favorite artist that you're looking at specific parts of what you like about this artist. So you might look at the artist and you will look at how they color their work, their line work, or like just simply like you look at their artwork and you like how they draw the eyes, or you like how they draw the hair. And if you want to like try copying them, I recommend just like using it as personal studies. Just like this is what I did. Like when I was like in middle school and high school, I did what a lot of people did, with just studying and like you're exactly copying the artist's work because it's fun. And a lot of my sketchbook was filled with like Elsa drawings, Disney characters. And before that, I drew a lot of manga artists. I read a lot of manga and I wanted to draw like them, and I was like, I'm gonna be a manga artist. But I figured out that I'm not going to, because I don't like drawing the same exact people. Sorry, I'm going off tangent. So I wanted to say is that when you look at your artists, you look at different things than other people do. So sometime I will look at the artist and I really, really like how they drew the lines. So I will be inspired from it. And I will put that kind of like idea in my image folder in my brain, so I could like take it out later and use it as part of my drawing. And this is different from every artist. You will look at your artist and be like, oh, I really like how they draw the lines. And then this other person will look at the same artist and say, well, I really like their color. But you might look at the artist and be like, but I don't really like the color. So because of you and you looking at the favorite artist, it applies differently to your work. So when you look at your favorite artist, don't feel bad that so many people like the same artist and you're afraid that you'll look exactly like the artist, because you're looking at your artist differently from everyone else. You're looking at the artist like for this specific reason, but then don't limit to only like one artist. Have multiple, and having multiple you're taking so many different things at once, and everything, because of you, it comes out differently to your work. And when you're researching about your favorite artists, research what they studied, like what school they go to, what did they learn from, what's their favorite artist is. Because when you look at their favorite artist, it's the same as everyone else. You're a different person. So when you look at their favorite artist, you might look at their favorite artist and be like, like it's not the same type of art that I like. But then you might also look at their favorite artist and be like, wow, I really like this artist. And you can tell like, oh, this artist took this artist's idea and applied it to their work. So kind of like looking at the past masters really helps figure out like how your favorite artists become, and it really gives an idea of how you can apply it to your work. So the next point I wanted to talk about is your experiences. How you lived your life is completely different from everyone else. It's really unique, and the people you meet will change you and create who you are as a person. So like the schools you went to, the people you learned from, your professors, who your parents are, it really can affect who you really are. And it shapes your personality. So your experiences will make you realize what kind of message you want to send through your art. So maybe you really like nature. You're surrounded by nature, then it really comes alive, your artwork. So if you're living in like a city and you draw nature, it really kind of looks different. So to compare to a person who lives in nature and applies nature to their work. So sometimes you can change your experiences by living in nature and being an expert and apply that to your work. Then people will look at your work and they will feel something. I really like city kind of settings, but I don't really live in a city. So I really like looking at mood boards, and that really inspires me to feel what it's like to live in a city kind of place. Also, if you want to broaden your experiences, like traveling is really can affect your work. So me going to like Italy for a semester really affected my work. So I never knew how to draw buildings, so I went to Florence, and when I was in Florence I would go out and try to practice drawing buildings, and now whenever I draw buildings it will look like Florence, I guess. So the places you are surrounded from can affect your work. And the final point I wanted to talk about is personality. And this is the most important part of being an artist, because the things you like are so unique and different from a lot of people. So your personality will make you like a certain artist and like a certain aesthetic, and you will notice things that not many other people do. So example, me, I get inspired from small details, like the textures on the walls. It's like color differences in the greens and certain aesthetics. So I really like grunge, vintage, city, and I really like the color pink. So sometimes that pink will come out in my drawings. I like old aesthetics, 80s. And recently I found out that like blurry kind of aesthetics are really cool. So like kind of blurry photographs. So before, when I was in like high school, I would be like, oh, I get inspired from photographs because I kind of like having a little realism to my work. But I still like Disney, so sometimes there will be kind of like a comic kind of look to my drawings. So when you look at people's work, you can tell what their personality is like by just looking at their work. An example is Catnip illustration. I recently found her, and I found her out by looking her YouTube channel, and she has like this bubbly and like happy energy. And when you look at her art, she has like this cute, happy and bubbly personality, and it's like exactly who she is, and that makes it really special. And there's this artist, you can look at other artists, and this person can have this funny looking creature drawings, and their personality is exactly like that. Or this person draws really pretty girls and like this elegant kind of drawing style, and this person personality is really kind and nice, and it really shows in their work. And the message you want to give out to the world will also express in your work. So if you want to fight for women's right, then maybe your drawings will be really strong, really awesome artists. Like, no. your drawings will be a bunch of strong, brave women. And the personality I'm trying to build myself is kind and elegant, I guess. I'm a very quiet person, so I think my art is kind of calm than most people. It's not really loud, I think, if you look at my work. So your favorite artist, your experience, and personality. That's what I think shapes your art style. So there's no use of like going to look for it. Like, it's really hard to find it immediately. It's something that you need to live and experience. So I wanted to share my recommendation. Like, I wanted to tell you what to focus on instead of looking for your art style. So first is study the fundamentals. Study the fundamentals of art. So anatomy, color, light, perspective, etc. And the books I recommend are Michael Hampton, Figure Drawing, Design and Invention, Color and Light, A Guide for a Realist Painter, and Perspective Drawing Handbook by Joseph D'Amelio, I guess. And I highly recommend Drawing Heads from Andrew Loomis, and it will be better if you get his books or PDF, or you can just Google Loomis Heads. I always recommend this to my Instagram followers. Just Loomis Heads on Google, and you will see a bunch of like Loomis Heads, and just copy exactly what he does. I also recommend I forgot his name. George Bridgman's hands. His hands are really muscular, but learning how to draw exactly will help you understand the structure of the hand and where the bones are. So draw exactly. The reason why I wanted you to study the basics is, so this is what like a lot of successful artists do. They go back to the basic, where they started from, and they polish their skills. So it's like, let's see. So if you're a cook and you're cutting up the vegetables or your food because you're making food, but then your knife is gonna start getting dull. You have to sharpen it. You have to sharpen it up so you can make better food. And if you keep cutting with that dull knife, your work is gonna be harder. It's gonna get harder. So you need to sharpen it up so you can keep making food faster. I was trying to think of words. Yeah. So when people are like, "Oh, my art is getting bad. It's getting really, really bad," I say like, go back to learning the fundamentals. Study, do some figure drawings, go do cafe drawings, which is, go outside, draw people eating, doing their thing, because just sitting around trying to think of some ideas, like it's just a waste of time. Just study and polish your skills so it will be easier to come up with ideas, and you will make less mistakes. So when I was in class, I was drawing. Do you remember my triptych drawing? There's this fish drawing, and I was drawing fishes in a stylized way. And my professor looked at my fishes, and he was like, "Naimi, if you want to stylize fish, like, you need to learn how to draw fish, like real fish. It's like, don't draw, like, don't stylize before you know how to draw something." So that applies to everything else. If you want to draw a human, don't try to stylize it when you don't know how to draw a human in the first place. Because when you try to stylize it in the beginning, you will stylize things that you shouldn't, and it will make it not look like a human. So learning how to draw from reference, you will understand what makes it look like what it is. So for me, I didn't know how to draw fishes, and I was trying to stylize it to match my artwork, and it didn't look good, and it didn't look like a fish. So I went back and I looked up a bunch of fish references, and I tried to copy them. And then once I got used to drawing fishes, I redrew it onto my work. So now that I know how to draw fishes, I can over exaggerate some parts and still make it look like a fish, because I understand what makes it look like a fish. So yeah, that's my explanation of why you shouldn't try to stylize and make an art style before you know the fundamentals of art. So I really highly recommend polishing the normal stuff, the basic stuff, the boring stuff. And when you do, it will be much a faster process of trying to find your art style. And I would say I didn't find my art style yet because I feel like people change over time. And if you say you found your style, then I feel like you will just stop, because you're like, okay, I'm done looking for my art style. And there's no fun anymore of creating, because you're not trying to send a message anymore. And the world changes over time, and people change, and you want to adapt to that. You want to change as the world changes, and you want to be noticed as the world changes. So don't be discouraged that you didn't find an art style, because I think you already have an art style. You're already you, and you're already unique as yourself just being here. So I just recommend trying to keep finding out who you are as a person, and what you like will change. You're not going to like the same exact movie for the rest of your life. You might find a new one, you know. So sometimes people will ask if it's okay to have multiple styles, and I will say that's definitely okay. You're just do whatever you like. No one is forcing you to have one style, and having multiple style is because you like multiple different things, and that's okay, because that's who you are. And you want to create both. You want to show both of the things you like. And having that multiple style, people will look at your art, and then they might ask you to draw this specific style, and you'll be like, yeah, sure, I know how to draw that style. And another client might be like, I want to draw this other style, and you'll be like, sure. So it's not bad to have multiple styles. It might actually be an advantage than other artists. So yeah, definitely don't feel bad about that. I think that's all I have to say about art style. I hope you found this helpful, and good luck. And I believe you will make amazing art anyway. So goodbye. Thank you for listening to my talk.